Juliet is concerningly young at 13 because her father wants her to marry Paris, a man in his 20s, not because it makes her relationship with Romeo problematic. This incredibly pervasive idea online that Romeo is significantly older than Juliet is not true to the original text. We have no indication of what his age is other than young. We have no reason to believe that he is anything other than maybe a few years older than her. In fact, it would defeat the whole purpose of Paris being significantly older than her if Romeo was also. The point of the play, which is explicitly stated at the beginning and the end, is that it's the family's fault that these kids are no longer alive. I think what happens is a lot of people will realize that their relationship is not actually this incredibly admirable romance the way that it has often been described ever since the 1700s when David Garrick did his version of Romeo and Juliet and changed the way that we viewed it forever. In fact, there was no balcony in the balcony scene before Garrick. But as is so common when people realize a common myth is not true, they take an overcorrective approach and decide that the opposite must be true. Yes, Romeo and Juliet make some silly decisions because they're young, but we're not supposed to blame them for any of the bad things that happen to them. It is the people around them who are at fault. Romeo and Juliet are simply two kids who want to explore who they are and their feelings, but are not able to live up to the societal pressures that try to force them to live an inauthentic lifestyle. And in the end, they'd rather take their own lives than live in this world where they are restricted to whatever society wants them to do. Most importantly, not being together because of something that has nothing to do with either of them. There are so many ways that you could interpret Romeo and Juliet, but the idea that its original purpose was to be a criticism of the kind of relationship between Romeo and Juliet because of Juliet's age is just straight up false. Unless you're saying that it's because both of them make poor decisions because they're both young, but I don't think that's what you mean when you point out just Juliet's age.